In this lesson, we are going to discuss one very important topic, rise of self. In the last lesson, we discussed brain and mind, neural structures, mapping, imaging. Now we are going to discuss on that structure how self came. Damasio thinks there is mind first, next self comes to mind, and consequently consciousness is born. Mind, self comes to mind, and consciousness is born. And we have seen that self and consciousness are one and the same. Sense of self is consciousness. But why did self has come to mind? Why should this happen at all? Because before self came to mind, things were going on. But how are they going on? Bacteria or a life form attacked, suppose, and defended, or runs away. So, life form is negotiating with the environment from bacteria times. Okay. Multicellular structures also are negotiating with the environment without self. Definitely there are some which have minds but no self. First, there is no mind. Next, mind without self. And third, mind with self. This is a sequence. First, there was no brain and no mind. Next, mind without self. Next, third, mind with self. This is how evolution took place. Okay. Let us spend few minutes on what is meant by mind without self. We discussed mind in the last class, but what precisely is mind without self as different from mind with self? Life form is responding to the environment. Anyway, I am using the word environment and response, but a better description that Antonio Damasio explains is process called homeostasis. Any life form wants to keep the parameters of life within a particular range. Blood pressure within this range, heart rate within this range, sugar within this range. So above that range, it has the risk. Within that range it is safe. So life form constantly keeps on maintaining that range. But Damasio explains, homeostasis actually doesn't mean restoring equilibrium every time. It is not simply restoring. It is more than restoring. It restores but also wants to keep something positive for growth. He calls that process homeodynamics. So basically maintaining certain safety conditions and if possible store something for future growth. Like a man manages his budget, financial budget. He wants to earn more than what he can spend so that he can invest in future. Homeostasis is not simply coming back to the original or equilibrium, but storing something and with that moving forward. So life is protecting itself, moving forward. So homeostasis is being done when there is no mind and there is mind without self. Okay. When there is mind without self, what happens is that okay, when there is no mind, there is a memory. And with memory, it responds. And mind without self, there is memory. There is a response. Okay. This is simple, this is complex. These are called unminded structures. These are called minded structures or minded life forms. So, here some disturbance takes place in a life form. That disturbance reaches the mind. Okay, and the disturbance is settled. Damasio says this process can be called emotion. Disturbance is reflected as an emotion and responded. That when mind is without self, the same disturbance after self has a kind of subjectivity that Damasio calls feelings. He says mind without self experiences emotions. Mind with self experiences feelings. So, no self, problem at heart level, a reaction by the mind, that is emotion. In fact, emotions are going on constantly now. But after self emerges, the same emotion, the same reaction will be felt. That can be called feelings. So, Damasio says emotions are pre-self, feelings are after self. But both emotions and feelings are reactions or responses to some homeostatic disturbance. Okay, so something happens, some response is given, When that response is done non-consciously, without self, that is emotion. When response is felt, reaction is felt and responded, that's feeling. So humans definitely have feelings. Humans also have emotions. In fact, a lot of things are going on at emotional level. Only certain things are going on at feeling level. It means so many things are going on non-consciously. Only certain things are going on consciously. For example, heartbeat, we are not counting. Okay, functioning of kidney, insulin, blood flow, we are not thinking at all. All of them are going on non-consciously. Brain or mind is taking care. But certain things, there is a problem more than what can be handled non-consciously. Then it enters the consciousness. Then that will be called feeling. And then individual may respond in a more proactive way when they are feelings. So, emotions before self, feelings after self. But they are the same processes, the processes of reactions to disequilibrium. A communication system in terms of what goes wrong, what went wrong in the body. Okay. So that's about emotions and feelings without self and with self.